What's good, everybody? Your boys back at it again. The PTP back at it again.
It's March.
As you guys may know, or should already know by now at this point, I'm KJ Phillips.
I'm Bryson Steed.
And we are the PTP, and welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys had a good start to your 2025.
Yeah.
I hope everything's been going all right since last time we talked. I know last time we talked was playoff stuff?
You know, the king of college football, bro.
Yeah, so now we're back to college basketball for obviously the best time of the year. Mm-hmm. March Madness, the best time of the year, best time, sports time.
I love it.
Before we get started talking about March Madness, the college basketball world lost somebody really special. Me and Bryson got to know him through countless memories, countless of times. He gave us plenty of good moments and plenty of heartbreaks, but that's just part of the game. Yeah. But also, he is a legendary announcer, broadcaster in his own right that inspires us to do what we do. Greg Gumbel, the GOAT. Yeah. We just want to take a moment of silence just to say R.I.P. to him. Yeah, so R.I.P. Greg Gumbel. We appreciate you and hope you're resting well up there in heaven, man. But
yeah, we miss your voice on Selection Sunday, man.
Yeah, before we got on camera, Bryson was talking about Jalen Rose and him being already on the selection team.
Oh my gosh! Like, why is he in the booth, bro? Why is Jalen Rose in the booth?
Is it NBA on TNT enough for you, bro? Like, or on ESPN?
Yeah, why is Jalen Rose in the booth?
Like, this angers me. Like, we're looking at it right now. Like, it still angers me. Mm-hmm. But all right. So we're gonna start talking about the Selection Sunday bracket. As you guys may know, Selection Sunday, as this was recorded, was a day ago yesterday. Let's just say there's plenty of surprises. I'll give Bryson the floor to go first because we're gonna have a lot to say. So, Bryson, you want to go ahead and?
Yeah, I mean, I just think, and I heard about a new criteria with the committee when it came to like what seed was what and who was in. I totally disagree with a lot of this. You know, let's just get into it. Purdue being a 4 seed, that's egregious. I mean, that's insane. The biggest one, though, that sticks out to me, though, is obviously Louisville, and KJ's going to get into that. Louisville, and I said it all year, ACC, bad. Like, it was bad this year. No one's saying it wasn't, but the disrespect Louisville got is monumental. I mean, they finished AP top 10, but they somehow got an 8 seed, which I don't even know what to say because it doesn't correlate with what I'm going to go into North Carolina, because if you're going to disrespect the ACC, how did North Carolina make it if Louisville's that low? And Louisville's monuments better than North Carolina, in my opinion. But the fact that Louisville went to the ACC championship, I think, what'd you say, in quad 2, 25 and 1?
Yeah, and quad 2, 3, and 4 combined, they had a record of 23-1. Which clearly means that they took care of business when they needed to take care of business against teams that they were either, supposed to beat, or teams that, it's going to be a neck and neck game that they barely got the edge, and they took care of all those teams except for Georgia Tech. But other than that game, they took care of everybody they needed to take care of. Quad 1, they started, if you look at their resume, which I am right now, all their losses are to number 1 Duke at the time, number 12 Tennessee at the time, number 9 Duke at the time again, and then number 23 Ole Miss at the time, and Oklahoma in the Battle for Atlantis Championship. So, when you're looking at this resume, how does this scream an 8 seed to you?
It doesn't make any sense.
How does that scream an 8 seed to you?
And then you look across and you see Mississippi State is on the same line as Louisville. If you're going to sit here and tell me Mississippi State is as good or better than Louisville, you are crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like I said, Louisville's conference, I'm going to keep saying it, Louisville's conference was down this year, and I understand that. But in that case, why is Clemson 3 seeds ahead of Louisville? After losing to them twice, I understand Clemson's best wins was like they beat Duke and Kentucky.
They beat Duke and Kentucky, yeah.
But at the same time, Louisville took down Clemson twice. And the way this rest of this is set up, Texas Tech is a 3 seed, correct? Well, the thing is, the only reason they are a 3 seed is because they beat the 1 seed Houston. So if we're going to do that where seeds are going to be based on beating each other, I don't understand how Louisville is just so low after beating a 5 seed. You know, twice. Swept them.
Yeah, swept Clemson, which the committee, and not even the committee, the college basketball world has really been on their tail all season about.
Man.
When it comes to ACC, it was mainly Duke and Clemson that really has controlled the ACC all year. And then Louisville comes out of nowhere, storms through conference play, absolutely dominates, including Clemson dominates them, which they claim to be the second best team in ACC, claims them, and still ends up as an 8 seed in this tournament. Like, I get the SEC, 14 teams, cool. The Big Ten, they have Michigan State, Michigan, okay, they're cool. The Big 12 didn't really have necessarily a good year either.
I don't think so.
So it's not like they deserve more love than ACC, to be honest with you.
I think they're getting way more credit to KJ's statement right there. I think the Big 12's getting way more credit than they deserve. I understand, Houston, they came in on 1 seed, they did their thing. But this whole thing where we're ranking Iowa State,
that's a 3 seed.
Arizona 4.
4, yeah.
Somehow Baylor got it. That's insane too.
I don't know how Baylor got it.
Why are we showing so much love to the Big 12? Kansas was down. Their flagship team was down. I don't understand how the Big 12 was just being showed so much respect this year. If, like I said, the ACC doesn't compare, but the Big 12's getting a lot of love. That's all I'm saying. A lot of love.
Yeah, and compare that to most of the success coming from the Big Ten is also from the old pack. Teams like Oregon, teams like UCLA, right? And then all the other teams, which goes into my next point, with the selection committee and their trouble decision making. Because you would think that come this time in December, last time you heard us when we were complaining about the college football playoff committee, you thought those were issues. These issues are worse.
Was a corrupt.
It's like they switched. Now the selection committee is now brain rotten. I don't know how to explain it, but now we're going to talk about the bubble. The teams they decided to put in the bubble. There has been a lot of controversy, Bryson included, which is why I'm going to let him speak about how he feels in a moment. I
get it, and I get it. I'm an O State fan. Everybody knows that. We haven't been to the tournament now 3 years in a row. Cool. But when you look at Carolina and you looked at the fact at a quad 1 team, quad 1 teams, they are 1-12. They've won one quad 1 game the whole year. They were annihilated by their rival. I don't understand how you just easily put them in. And then I think everybody's going to talk about this. The AD. North Carolina's AD is the NCAA selection chair. And they magically get in. He gets an $100K bonus, by the way, if they got in. Isn't that convenient? Anyways. Carolina has no business being in over IU, O State, and yes, O State lost in the first round to Iowa. I get that. That was and I didn't expect us to be in. But if there was going to be a team that was going to be in, it certainly shouldn't have been the Tar Heels. But yeah, so I think Carolina. What's another? You got another surprise team that off the bubble that got in for you?
I mean, really, another surprise team that really made it in. Really, when it came to the bubble watch, North Carolina really surprised me the most. I could tell by the way the bracket was going and how teams were being selected. It kind of seemed like they were leaning towards the edge of, okay, these are teams that are making it. Like Xavier.
Yeah. Come
Texas, sure. They made it, to the third day of the SEC tournament. Okay. I guess that's good enough.
And let me say this too. So Carolina's gonna be playing for that 11 seed, right, in the first 4. Let's see who Let's see another 11 seed. Drake, who's 30-3. How is Drake an 11 seed at 30-3? I don't care what conference they play in. They've won 30 games. That's for one. And you're gonna sit here and tell me they're on the same level as Carolina? I don't think so. I don't think so.
So Bryson, to bring up to the point that we alluded to earlier. Looking at North Carolina's resume, they also pertain in a quad 2 against teams that are in quad 2, 3, and 4. They also proceeded to have a 20-1 record against, which shows that they did take care of business when they played teams that they were supposed to squash or barely beat. But when I'm looking at this quad 1 resume, it's kind of brutal. I mean, they lost, like you mentioned, they lost to Duke not once, not even twice, 3 times.
3 times.
They lost to Clemson in an away game by 20. They beat UCLA. That's their quad 1 win on a neutral floor. They lost to Florida by 6 on a neutral floor. They lost to Bama by 15 on a neutral floor or at home. That was a home game.
His point is they've never won any meaningful games this year outside of one. In UCLA, oh God, like they don't have Jaime Jaquez walking through that door, brother. UCLA isn't scary. Go ahead.
And then we also didn't mention the whole West Virginia thing either.
Oh, God.
Because the West Virginia thing is a mess in its own right. Because out of everybody going up leading up to the tournament, I believe it was like 62 out of 62 insiders that projected brackets. West Virginia was in every single one of them to projected to make the field. Come Selection Sunday, they don't make the field.
It's shady.
Because their star player that played a total of a whopping 8 games this year didn't play. And that's what affected their decision. And
Carolina has the chair. And I don't care what he said. He said the dude's going to say they're in the interview, yeah, I just stepped out while they made the decision. BS. You did not step out, bro. Or you may have stepped out, but you're going to sit here and tell me that you didn't have that conversation at like breakfast, lunch, and dinner with like the rest of the committee about Carolina. Y'all never talked about Carolina before. BS. And then, like I said before, that $100K bonus you get if Carolina made it. Come on, bro. It's obvious what's going on. It was some shady stuff. If I'm being real, I can't think of the last time like something like this in the tournament happened. Mm-hmm. Like on Selection Sunday. This is a screw job. Not only to West Virginia, but to Louisville, like we said, and any other bubble team that was under Carolina. Let's just be real. So
yeah, there was a lot of misseeding and everything.
It's terrible.
I think going forward that this can't ever happen again. When
it can't.
To teams on not only teams on the bubble, but also looking at sites. I feel like that also played a part this year. Yeah. Because the big part of why Louisville is A-seed is because look at where they're playing at. Yeah. Lexington, Kentucky, right up the road. It just feels like some of these teams they knew they were going to make the tournament. They kind of just put them there for convenience and location and potential storylines and upsets. Like that's not how a correct tournament should be seeded and booked as.
And I kind of like, I had this conversation with my parents actually because I watched Selection Sunday with them. I feel like the exchange for that seeding that Louisville got was to play in Lexington. Mm-hmm. Like the committee was like, yeah, it's a low seed for them, but hey, we're gonna let them play 60 miles up the road from. No, that's not the same. Because
and then to put us in the number 1 overall teams region.
That's
are
nasty.
You serious?
That's nasty.
Even if we do play in Lexington,
that's nasty.
Do you realize they play up there 2 times a year? That's not even a home game. That's a home game for them too. What are you talking about?
Auburn is the number 1 overall.
Auburn's the number 1 overall.
Usually the worst 8 seed gets the bracket with the number 1 overall team. Yeah. So you're telling me Louisville was the worst 8 seed out of, let's see, Mississippi State. My God, UConn. You can't make this up. UConn. Gonzaga, what are we really talking about? Gonzaga barely won the WCC.
They barely did.
St.
Mary's gave them a year.
They weren't even the 1 seed in the WCC.
St. Mary's gave them a year this year.
They weren't even I don't know what to say.
And St. Mary's is the 7th seed. This is a team that
Gonzaga's egregious. That's egregious. And I always said, if Gonzaga does not win their regular season, they have no business going to the tournament. And not in that high school conference.
Even with a loaded off what's it called, non-conference schedule. Because they did play in the Maui. They did play in the Maui. Yeah. They played in the Maui.
You can go to Dayton. You shouldn't be any seed that's automatically in.
They can be playing right now.
Yeah, you can be playing right now. First of all,
they can be playing right now.
Bro, the Gonzaga love kills me because they've never won. They just win. They win a lot of games. They're Oregon football.
Oh,
What? They win. You win a lot of games. You know, you win what you're supposed to. You get to prime time and you forget how to play. Oregon, I haven't forgotten. Y'all got absolutely dismantled in the Rose Bowl, bro. In the Rose Bowl. That was in your career, in your side of the country. I'll never forget that.
Speaking of Oregon, they got Liberty as a 5 seed, playing Liberty in the in Duke's region, in the East region. So
that
we're gonna do some more analysis on that. We're gonna talk about that later. But yeah,
like
I mean, to wrap this segment up, I mean, yeah, selection committee. Please don't turn into the college football playoff committee.
Yeah, don't
do this. Like we can't be going through these brain rot sessions behind closed doors. We can't be doing this. Favoritism, location, bias. Like no one cares about that. We just want you to grade us on fair seedings.
Absolutely.
On fair seedings based off the resume.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at a resume right now. I'm looking at Louisville's resume. I'm also looking at West Virginia's and Ohio State's. And me and Bryson had simple conversations like, okay, do these teams deserve to get in or not? Let's see. Columbus is a region. They're posting this. Let's just put Ohio State here. Like, no. No.
Absolutely
We need fair and justifiable reasoning. All this player being hurt, you're not going to put them in. And then the RJ Davis effect, that shouldn't be the single reason why you guys are putting these teams in this tournament that teams desire to play for every year and players dream about. Like, even us, when we were basketball players, like, we wanted to play in March Madness.
I used to hoop.
So, like, I mean, like, you can't just be disrespecting March Madness like this.
I used to hoop.
This can't happen again. And selection committee, I just pray that next year this doesn't happen. Because if it does, y'all already talking about expansion. Y'all already talking about adding 4 more teams in here. So,
That's so crazy.
So
70 teams is nuts.
So the thought that you guys are going to expand from this and possibly screw more teams over in the future is absurd. So just keep that in mind whenever you guys go through this next year and talk about expansion in the off season and all these other rules you guys are going to come up with. But yeah, that's all we got for that, Bryson. So next we're just gonna move on.
You just gonna.
So looking through this field, we're just gonna. I guess we're just gonna start off. What were your first thoughts breaking it down from region to region?
Region.
In my opinion, this West gone. Oh my God, the death is called the West. Yeah, that's what I call it.
The West. And guess what? Kansas, bye. Bye. Y'all aren't ready. Y'all proved it to me. I got Arkansas taking down Kansas and Bill Self, and then to get another Coach Cal versus Rick Pitino matchup in the round of 32.
Hot take
with St. John's and Arkansas. No, it's not a hot take. Kansas sucks. All right. But also, I got an upset in the West as well with Drake beating Missouri. Yeah, just because Drake 30-3 is crazy. Like I said before, 30-3 is. I mean, that's just a hot team. They know how to play together. Missouri's been up and down the stretch. I don't think they did good in the SEC tournament either. I got Maryland, Memphis. What kind of?
I would say my biggest team I'm looking at right now is UC San Diego out of the Auburn region.
Oh wow!
Yes, that might be a little bit hot take, but I've seen this team 30-4, breeze through their conference literally. Like when I tell you they breezed through them, it was literally like a cakewalk.
That's a crazy.
And also, they're on par with Drake. They play a really fast-paced game. I think that they can compete with any one of these teams in this region. Mentioning the Louisville region. Obviously, I'm gonna pick my cards. I think obviously if they get past if they get past Auburn, I'm not gonna lie, the sky's the limit. In my opinion, the sky's the limit. If they get past there, they shouldn't be afraid of Michigan State. They should be afraid of whoever comes out of that Duke's or Florida's region, the West region.
Yeah,
so
I definitely got Louisville winning. Not definitely. I told KJ earlier it's gonna be a dogfight between Louisville and Creighton. Creighton's a very good team. They're always that March team that like people sleep on, but they can win a few games in March. They usually make like a Sweet 16 run. So I think Louisville and Creighton, that'll be a dogfight. I'm just going to take Louisville here. I just feel like they're going to come in feeling disrespected. Rain Smith comes back from injury. But then
which I know Creighton loves to run and gun. So.
Then unfortunately there's a butt whooping waiting on them for Auburn. But hopefully Louisville fans can make it down there in Lex and paint Rupp red. So that changes things in the tournament.
It does.
That changes things.
I would say another team to look out for also is VCU. I like VCU coming out of the what region is that? Is that the East?
He thinks Shaka region? Smart's back.
Yeah. So I think VCU can make a run out of their region.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to Duke's region, I mean, really all I see is, there's not really surprising Bama, but we all know how wishy-washy Bama is.
Bama's wishy-washy now.
Bama, like you never know what you get out of Bama. Bama, they could literally walk to the Elite Eight through this region if they're playing their best brand of basketball. They could literally breeze walk to the Elite Eight and play Duke, and maybe even win that game and go to the Final Four.
They could,
but at the same time, they also could get second rounded by Vanderbilt.
Absolutely.
So it's like you never really know like what you're getting with Bama when it comes to that region.
Bama can score 100 on a team
easily,
but their defense lacks, and that's Kentucky's problem too. Alabama and Kentucky probably give up the two most points in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, they can score 100, but they'll give up 115.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my concern with them. I do have Alabama in my Final Four coming out the East, but I would not be surprised if that didn't happen just because they struggle on the defensive end, and defense wins ball games. Then in the other in the Midwest, I do have a rematch in the Elite Eight of Kentucky and Tennessee. And I think Tennessee, the third time's a charm, finally beats Kentucky. But God, they choke against Kentucky every single game. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think Houston being the 1 seed, even in the Midwest, I don't think that they're built for SEC type ball. I think they've escaped some Big 12 games as well. So I think that'll catch up to them. So I do have Tennessee coming out of the Midwest.
Yeah, I think when it comes to this whole bracket, obviously when it comes to number 1 seeds especially, Houston by far, I would say, is the weakest one.
They're the weakest one.
Out of all 4. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
It is true. Coming into the season, I had high hopes for Houston. I thought they were going to breeze walk through the Big 12. Honestly, I thought they would have 1 or 2 less losses on this bracket when it comes to the Big 12, especially with, I get it's kind of dominant, but at the same time, it's the Big 12. Like
it's sweet, bro.
It's like literally
it's
like
sweet.
If Kansas is not good, if Baylor is not good, then the conference is dead. It's literally dead past those 2 teams. So I mean, you would think Houston would not be 30-4. They'd be sitting here maybe 31-3, 32-2. I mean, maybe something better than that. But when it comes to this region, Clemson's in this region. They better not make it to farther than the second round. They better not make it the second weekend. I don't think they will. Regardless if High Point beats Purdue.
That we both have that upset. We have the huge upset with that.
Or whether McNeese takes care of them in the first round. Which if McNeese loses this year, I swear I'm picking y'all. If y'all let me down again after y'all were saying y'all getting Sweet 16 praise last year, y'all are kind of getting it again this year. Starting to creep back up. McNeese is on the roll. They got a better team than last year. I promise you they're going to do good this year. They're going to make it far. Okay, please do that. Y'all got Clemson first game, which, according to all these teams, all these high seeds, one common opponent they all have majority is Clemson. So I'm letting y'all know right now, if y'all want to make it on this national stage and let this whole bracket, this whole field know who y'all are, beat Clemson on day 1. Beat them in the first round.
I know who to talk about if we talking about first round exits.
Oh man.
Hey, Mark Pope. Let me tell you something. You got a lot of pressure. If you lose Detroit.
If you lose Detroit. We can't stress this enough.
I'll
be laughing.
I have seen you lose to a State Farm agent last year. Goki in Oakland. Then you lost to a local church in St. Peter's the year before. Kentucky. If you lose first round again, you will be forever the laughing stock of college basketball. I don't care how many championships you've won.
The Cowboys of the NCAA basketball world.
Y'all will be the Cowboys.
Y'all won't be getting
Y'all kind of already are, but
I mean,
Kentucky.
Honestly, you never know what you get out of Kentucky, especially since.
Well, we do in March.
Oh
yeah, we certainly do.
Oh, trust me.
I mean, it's been since 2018 since you won an SEC championship. I'm not gonna let that go either. Tyler Hero was on that roster when you won.
I mean, as an Oklahoma fan, I mean, y'all await us to the next round,
right?
But then at the same time, y'all got 100 ball on Bama the next game.
The reason we're so hard on Kentucky is because you're putting an all-star team in the league every year.
I mean, like
you're putting an all-star team
y'all
there.
Y'all got one of the best 3-point shooters in the nation, Lamont Butler, who's single-handedly taken an San Diego State team to a Final Four before 2 years ago. There's no reason. Y'all got experience. Y'all got skill. Y'all got everything y'all need. So that's like sorry, y'all. That's like that UK fan creeping in.
Yeah, you heard about the UK.
So y'all got all the skills y'all need to make a run in this bracket. Given y'all are in a region where y'all have the weakest number 1 seed out of the whole seed, so that's a good thing.
UK should make a run.
So
there's
Tennessee,
no way
the
UK
only team y'all should
make a
really
run.
be fearing is Tennessee. And that's it. If y'all make it past Tennessee, then y'all straight. Y'all should be straight. Unless y'all face Clemson again. I don't know if y'all got Clemson again because I don't know.
UK should make a run.
But like when it comes to this region, if Kentucky doesn't make a run in this region, I'm sorry.
There's no way, bro.
Y'all's hype is dead. Like literally, when it comes, y'all gonna be regular season merchants.
Can I say this though? Injuries, on a serious note, injuries have plagued them all year. And unfortunately, it has.
I don't want to hear no injuries. I don't want to hear no injuries excuse when it comes to Louisville.
Injuries have hurt UK bad.
There is a chart out there. It has. There is a chart out there where it shows all the production of all the teams NCAA, how much have they lost, and how much they were expected, or how much they're expected to win. Louisville's at the very top of that chart because they have lost multiple stars. They lost them at the beginning of the season before. Really, the bulk of their quad one teams that they faced, they were getting injuries left and right. I
have to be fair.
So I
have to be fair because they don't have Jackson Robinson. They lost what's his number 77. I forgot that dude's name.
I don't know.
He's the shooter. He hadn't been there all year.
And then Lamont's been dealing with injuries for the last couple of months.
I'm just gonna be real. I'm gonna be like, they've had an injury plague, but that doesn't excuse you from the fact if you lose to Troy University. Oh my god! Like, y'all better not lose to Troy.
If y'all
University.
lose to Troy, man,
my goodness,
that's good for me because that's gonna make good content for me. I'm just be laughing.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and the fact that Louisville can win their first tournament game of the revival in Rupp Arena is hilarious. So
that'd be crazy too.
That would be hilarious. So, but I mean, when it comes to this field, I think that there is a potential for a lot of upsets in this field, but at the same time, there's a lot of potential for not so many upsets in this field. It's
every March Madness, man. I mean, that's the beauty. This is why we love it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's really hard to pick out which teams are going to do good. Hopefully, there's a big mid-major run coming out. I think, in my opinion, that could be either someone like Drake, that could be someone like UC San Diego, McNeese. High Point can maybe make a Sweet 16 run if they get past Purdue and Clemson. I mean, that could be a really good run for them. VCU can maybe do something with that one. Bryson, you got any teams maybe even some high major schools that you think can maybe make a run at the low seed in this bracket?
I think we count Ole Miss as
a low seed.
Yeah. So I kind of.
Their resume is not impressive.
I have Ole Miss as going to Elite Eight.
Nah, that's a hot take. That's kind of
I have Ole Miss beating. Listen,
I respect it though.
I have Ole Miss beating, of course, San Diego State because I don't have Carolina beating San Diego State. I think they're going to choke.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you think North Carolina's not going to make it to the tournament?
People are going to be mad at them in the morning. How much do you want? So Ole Miss beating Iowa State. I have Ole Miss beating Michigan State to get to the Elite Eight. And then they ultimately lose to Auburn in the Elite Eight. So I think Ole Miss is one of them teams that we talk about like Alabama. Like if they're on, they can.
Their point guard's tough.
They can shoot.
They can shoot the lights out.
That's why I have Ole Miss going to the Elite Eight. Like you said, it might be a hot take, but yeah, and then go ahead and tell them about your St. John's prediction. Go ahead.
So, I mean, it ain't really too crazy of a take, but I do got St. John's going to the Final Four.
They do. You do.
That kind of is a bold hot take. But at the same time, I think when you're looking at the region of death called the West. There's a lot of actually, to be honest, you really can't make out a team that you could definitely say, especially with Florida in here. Florida's the hottest team in the country, in my opinion, going into this tournament.
They are. Yeah.
They just won a loaded SEC conference tournament.
The best conference of the year.
So, I mean, a 14-team conference a conference that 14 teams into the tournament. They won it all. And they're the hottest team in the country right now going into this. But at the same time, St. John's, we all know how Rick Pitino comes in March. We all do. And this is his first time coming back to March with St. John's on March because they didn't make the tournament last year, did they? I don't think they did.
No, I got St. John's in the Elite Eight.
So we all know how Rick Pitino leans up in March, which I mean, also like Bryson said, there's a star-studded Hall of Fame coach roster when you look throughout this bracket. I mean, you got Coach Cal, Dan Hurley,
Bill Self.
I mean, there's
Rick
a lot
Pitino,
of,
obviously.
There's a lot of teams up and down here that have experienced coaches and know what it takes to win a tournament like this. Mm-hmm. So I think the winner of that region is ultimately going to be the favorite coming to the Final Four. Mm. And I think when it comes to St. John's, I mean, you got Rick Pitino. He has some boys balling up there in New York. New York has brought back basketball has been brought back to New York because the Knicks were not cutting it. So I think that when it comes to this region, I do have Florida and St. John's going to the Elite Eight and playing each other, but I think St. John's just barely squeezes it out and punches their ticket to the Final Four. So
I can't be mad at that.
So I think that's just what's going to happen. I think, but at the same time, Florida is also the hottest team in the country. They could, I mean, when you look at their half of the bracket, I mean, who should they be afraid of when it comes to, like, Maryland? Like, no.
That could be a tough game, though.
I mean,
that could be a tough game.
It can be, but at the same time, I think Maryland's power is just going to, size and power is just going to overcomplicate things.
UConn's fraudulent.
And UConn, no.
Y'all went back to back. All right, that ends today. That ends now.
I don't think UConn's going to be much of a factor in this tournament.
UConn, yeah, I don't.
Even if they proceed to beat Oklahoma, which I hope they don't, obviously, because Jeremiah Fears going to put fears into their heart. But
oh god, that's gonna be a good game. That's gonna be a good 8-9 game.
I think it's gonna be a really good 8-9 game. Memphis is kind of hot.
I don't trust them.
They won but like you said, they played the American.
I don't trust Memphis. Yeah.
Who the committee sat and looked at their resume and said, "Oh, they should be over Louisville." Oh wow, they're playing. So I'm like, okay, all right. So
let's go. You want to get to Final Four predictions?
Full Final Four predictions. I got Auburn coming out of their bracket. Okay. I got St. John's.
Okay.
And then I got Tennessee, and I got Duke in my Final Four.
So people gonna be mad at me because this is actually against what I've been talking about in college football. But I've went all SEC here.
Oh wow.
I've went Auburn out the South region. I went Florida out the West region. So instead of St. John's, like KJ said, I went Florida. I went Tennessee, like he said. And instead of Duke, I went Alabama. And I just believe the SEC, they're just too battle-tested this year. And I feel like any other conference, or at least these 4 teams, any other conference that comes to them, they're not going to be able to beat them. They're not going to be able to be. They're too battle-tested. And then in my title, I got Florida beating Auburn, knocking off the number 1 overall seed. Then I got Tennessee knocking Alabama to ultimately give the Gators.
The Gators finally won something.
Yeah. The national championship.
I mean, the Gators had it coming. I mean, in my bracket, like I said, I got Auburn, St. John's, Tennessee, and Duke. Bless you. In my opinion, I got Auburn and Duke in a national title game. And I think the Cooper Flag effect is going to be really real compared to the Zion effect, past Duke superstars in the past. I mean, Cooper Flag, when it comes down to it, he got injured. And keep in mind, you also got to realize he also got injured in the ACC. So he really didn't get to showcase what he could really do on a bigger stage than he's been playing with all season. So I feel like when it comes to this field, I think Cooper Flag is really going to take over it. Especially if Malik Brown comes back, I think that's going to be a really big factor, as well as see if he comes back. At least if they make it to the second weekend. I think if they make it to the second weekend, Malik Brown, I believe he's going to be cleared to come back by then. He should be fine. If that happens, yeah, you might as well watch out because they're Malik Brown, Cooper Flag, And then the rest of that starting lineup, hey, yeah, they're gonna be a pretty big force to reckon with. But at the end of the day, if that's the case, if they match up against Auburn, they're the only other team that can match them when it comes to size, when it comes to skill and everything. And I believe that Auburn is ultimately going to pull it out and show why they were the number one overall seed and overall team in this tournament. And that's who I got winning my natty is the Auburn Tigers.
Okay. See, so look, as you can see, we both picked SEC, just two different teams. It still blows me that seeing Florida as a 1 seed so weird, but like I just never would have.
It feels like 2008, them Joe Kim Noah days. Now
relax. You know who they beat that time. Man. Relax. Everybody relax. Shout out Greg Oden. Shout out Mike Conley. Gosh, we just couldn't get it done. Man.
But I mean, I'm prepared. I think this is gonna be a really good year when it comes to this tournament.
And like I said, hopefully seeding, improves next year. Obviously, we showed our complaints about it, but at the same time, it's still March Madness. We're gonna watch. Everybody gonna watch. So everybody calm down. Talking about
just like the playoffs, y'all complain.
Y'all still watch.
So sit your butts in them seats and watch the.
Can anybody else remind me who won that? By the way, who won their 9th national championship? I just want to know. I forgot. I'm just kidding. But yeah. I can't wait for this March Madness and. It's here. One shining moment. Cue it up.
Cue it up. Hey, my squad's gonna be in it, man. OU, shout out Louisville, shout out Oklahoma. Hey, praise them. Bryson, unfortunately.
I know. We got stuff to figure out in Columbus for basketball. 3 straight years is unacceptable. But people forget, yes, we're a football school, but Aaron Kraft and like Evan Turner, we were Final Four, Elite 8. Yeah, we went to the title game against Florida, like I just mentioned. So for us to not even make the tournament anymore, it's really a travesty. So hopefully we can get stuff together. Diebler, you got 1 more year, but seriously, you got 1 more year to get there. But besides that, man, yeah, hopefully we can get stuff together and make it back to March.
Yeah. Well, Bryce, I got one more question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
About to sign off from this bracket and from this episode. So. Who do you think is going to shine in this whole field? What player are you looking forward to shining in this field when it comes to all these teams that have, because this is one of the best freshman recruiting classes that ever been seen really in college basketball. As you saw at the beginning of the year, most of these teams on here are ruled by the star-studded freshman class that came in. So.
I wouldn't even say it's going to be a freshman. I'll just go to Sears at Alabama. I just think he's such a dog, bro. Sears at Alabama, who's guarding him? Can somebody tell me who's guarding him? And then I wouldn't even lie. If Louisville can get hot, somebody put the Chucky doll up. Chucky, when he's hot, bro, Chucky's a problem, bro. I mean, I hate to... people be hating, like I said, on the ACC and stuff, but I don't think y'all really realize how good Chucky Hepburn is. And I think, at least in the Creighton game, he's going to show us.
In which Chucky does have March Madness experience.
He does. He's a veteran.
He's hit a game winner for Wisconsin to advance to the Elite 8 a couple years back.
He hit a buzzer beater in the ACC tournament.
So, I mean, he has plenty of the experience to take Louisville all the way. I think when it comes down to it, a player that I would watch for, like I said, Cooper Flagg.
I'm watching that injury, though.
Yeah, I'm about to say, we're not going to watch that injury, though, and keep a lookout on it. But also, I'm going to go someone off Kentucky.
Oh, God. Who are you about to say?
I'm going to say it either has to be... If Lamont can get healthy and play...
Yeah, that's true.
Lamont needs to show up for this team in this tournament if they want a shot of at least going to the second weekend. I mean, to be honest, saving Mark Pope in the humiliation that could be possibly awaiting him.
Yeah.
So I think hopefully he could come back, like Bryson said, watch that injury. But at the same time, hopefully he can come back and really show why he took San Diego State to a Final Four. He could also take Kentucky to a Final Four. And I think that when it comes to those two players, those are the ones to watch for. I think Auburn... I mean, they're 2 star-studded. They got players 1 through 5 that can match up with anybody.
Absolutely.
And then same thing with Florida. So I'm also intrigued to see how St. John's defense does in this tournament, especially in a star-studded region like the West. they're playing a lot of good offensive teams in this region. So
they're gonna have to score.
So
St. John's is gonna have to score.
And unfortunately, I am a Rick Pitino stan, but we all know how good Rick Pitino teams can score.
Yeah.
Nah, not really.
You don't think so?
I mean, they're mostly dependent on fast break points and off turnovers. So I mean, by playing good defense. So I mean, you're gonna play some really good defense against a lot of these teams, and playing against a team that literally has nothing to lose. You're playing with against every other day. I mean, obviously they're gonna be throwing everything they got at them. So hopefully, St. John's can make a run at this thing, because it'd be cool to see Rick Pitino lead another team to a Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of cement his status as maybe debatably the greatest coach of all time. So
yeah.
But
that'd be Coach Gabe, but go ahead.
He's retired. But anyway, but that's all we got, I guess. Bryce, you got anything you want to say before we sign off?
Enjoy the tournament, man. One shining moment, like I said.
Hey, may the best teams win, and may the best teams also lose.
OHIO.
Yeah, we'll see y'all later. Enjoy the madness. All right, y'all. Signing off. Hope y'all have a great day. Make sure y'all follow us. Comment on our YouTubes, and also follow us on PTP Takes. That'll be tagged in the description below. Make sure you leave a comment on what y'all want to see next. Maybe you might want to see us give us a breakdown, Final Four breakdown, maybe. Also, keeping track with us on our IG pages, social medias, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channels and wherever you guys are listening, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or even just on another platform. We appreciate you guys listening, and thank you guys, and we're signing off. PTP, yo.